Hey all, our moon is still in Virgo and this is our lunar pull for October 24th, 2019. We have the 10 of Wands, the 10 of Fire at the center of the reading. Many of us enduring great burdens at this time as we close out spiritual cycles. It is Scorpio season. Now this lunar pull, this reading is for the collective, for any and all signs, as always. And the messages are for the time surrounding and following October 23rd and the moon in Virgo this Scorpio season. So it being Scorpio season, we see this burden at the center of the reading because many of us are enduring losses. We are going through transitions and transformations that have us leaving things behind. Starting new beginnings, yes, but also leaving behind old ways, old relationships, patterns, habits, people, environments, versions of ourselves that no longer serve us, right? And we need to act quickly in this energy with the Eight of Wands coming through as our advice. So we are enduring a burden as we close out a cycle, but we need to close out that cycle quickly. We need to just get it over with, get through with it, get on with it. Because as we transition into a calmer, more peaceful, happier emotional and mental state, we do still have the option, the ability, the choice to look back and even move backwards. So the reading is saying move ahead, full speed ahead. And we also see that type of energy in the more distant future for you. The near future is actually the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Chalices here. So in the near future, we're feeling very empathetic. We're feeling our way through this transition, this new beginning, this closing of a spiritual cycle, this burden. We're feeling our way through it. We're inspecting our emotions as we do so in a very Scorpion type of way. This is fixed feminine energy, right? And that is Scorpio, fixed feminine energy, fixed water, right? So we're really embodying this Scorpio energy here in the near future. Some of you are actually dealing with a Scorpio energy in the near future. And in that case, it actually looks like that is the energy you're transitioning into. So if you're interested in pursuing something with a mature feminine Scorpio energy, it looks like that's exactly where you're headed in the near future. Leaving behind states of stress, turmoil, chaos, an energy of intense, hectic, maybe fighting. Yeah, this is all about a new beginning. Here's the Fool card on the bottom of the deck. This is Aries energy. Some of you are dealing with an Aries specifically. Others of you are leaving behind a Pisces with the Moon card here in the recent past position. This Moon card is also telling us that in the recent past, all was not what it seemed. All was not clear. Your path forward was not clear. You have had to rely on your connection to the divine, your connection to your subconscious, your intuition, whatever it is that anchors you personally beyond the veil in order to move forward, in order to see your way forward, because you simply did not have all of the information that you needed. And it could very well be that you were dealing with someone in the recent past who wasn't giving you all the information that you needed about the situation you shared with them, about them in general, about themselves. And that's why we see an ending here, a burden and an ending to a cycle. But again, this is the end of a spiritual cycle, often creative as well, with the 10 of Fire, when the 10 of Fire shows up. And it's rare that when I see the 10 of Wands, when I see this 10 of Fire, that I say push forward, full speed ahead. because often this is being overwhelmed and burdened to the extent that one needs to take a break, requires a break. It is, being the end of a spiritual cycle, often an ending that you do have to endure on your own to a certain extent. Others will not understand the ending and the transition the same way that you do. But while it is rare for me to say push forward full speed ahead, that is your advice with the Eight of Wands. Fast movement, fast communication is required here. And I really sense that it's because if some of you do not see this ending through quickly, then you will not see it through at all. It may be burdensome, but you know that this is the end of a cycle that is supposed to end, and you need to execute that ending, your part in that ending now, while you are seeing that clearly, before this person who doesn't give you all of the needed information comes back and starts confusing you again, or before your own tendency and inclination to resist your transformation and look back on what was takes you backwards instead of forwards. Because this new beginning, yes, it is a risk and it is scary, but it is full of adventure and potential, and this is the direction that's available for you now. This is the way you're encouraged to go. I'm not saying to wander off of this cliff, right? You have to note and be aware of the fact that you don't know everything that this new beginning holds. There will be, yes, dangers. There will be, as I said already, risks. There will be unknown factors on this path. You have to take into consideration that you have much to learn about the direction that you're going to start going in now. But that said, to go in the opposite direction is to refuse a gift the divine is offering you, in order for you to withdraw and focus on things that you really can no longer have, that are from your past, that no longer serve you. And I do think for a lot of you, it's a Pisces energy, because the Hangman shows up below that Fool card, and this Four of Chalices that I was also peeping at as well. So that's two Piscean energies. For a lot of you, it's a Pisces energy that needs to be left behind, that hasn't been offering you clarity, the truth, all that you need to know, again, about them, about the situation you share with them. And it's difficult. It's so difficult. It's so burdensome that you do want to look back. You can sense and feel that you are transitioning into, as we said, a calmer mental and emotional space that the Six of Swords almost always represents for us. Some of you literally traveling and moving away in order to reach that space. And with the Queen of Cups, with the Scorpio energy here in the near future, this is saying to us, once you get to that calmer mental and emotional space, that will be the time. Maybe a calmer mental and emotional space, maybe a calmer place, literally, physically, if you're actually moving. But once you get there, once you reach your new state of being, that's the place where you can inspect your emotions. Then you can ask yourself how you feel about that ending. You can really inspect what caused it, what you contributed to it, what you may have done differently, what you want to do differently now moving forward, what your relationship might be able to continue to be with any given person, if it is a person you're leaving behind, right? There will be a space and time to ask those questions. Scorpio season will encourage you to continue to investigate your inner world and your depths, what you want to resist, what you're afraid of, getting to know yourself in a deeper and deeper level and way. So there will be a time and space for that, but you need to leave that for after you've reached this calmer mental and emotional state, maybe literal physical place, right? After you transition, because if you start questioning those things now, instead of just acting quickly and doing what needs done in terms of physical action, actual moves that you need to make, right? If you focus on the emotion instead of the action now, then there is definitely a risk for you to just go ahead and head backwards, to go back to what you're leaving behind, to move backwards in general. Ultimately, in the more distant future, what you're heading toward is more fast movement forward. Lots of plans, lots of talk and plans about where you're headed. This is determination. This is focus. So after that you have released what needs to leave with this ending of a spiritual cycle here in order to transition to a calmer mental and emotional state for yourself. Then you can investigate the emotions behind these choices, these actions, and after that, you will know where you're heading. You will have focus. You will be determined to reach your goal, where you're heading. So much so, moving so quickly from this momentum that we're asked to start with now, right? You'll be moving so quickly still that you could be a little reckless, you could be a little disrespectful. You want to make sure that you are aware of the energy that you're bringing to the party, so to speak, because this energy is very, very focused, and it's one who knows themselves well enough to know that they need to meditate frequently, because they are always talking very quickly and planning very quickly and frankly just thinking very quickly. That they need to meditate frequently to keep those thoughts and those words and those plans in line, so that they don't confuse themselves, contradict themselves, so that they aren't rude and disrespectful and reckless to themselves and others, because they're so excited and focused on what these thoughts and subsequent plans are. That you don't want to, trample over someone else's toes in talking about those plans and what they mean to you or how you're going to get there, hurt someone else's feelings, or just be reckless in general, not just with thoughts and words, but actions as well when you see the Knight of Swords. So you definitely want to meditate frequently, and you definitely want to take action before you move into your emotional state at this time. If you know that someone has not been showing you all of themselves or showing you enough for you to have the truth of your situation with them, who they are, and that is what is causing this burden and this necessary ending here, then it's time to just act quickly and move forward with as much haste as possible, right? I just to repeat one more time, I really sense that if you indulge in this emotional investigation too soon, before you have completed this transition away from your old self, away from your old life, or this person who needs to be in your past, at least for a time, that you will end up turning that boat around and heading back. Then it will be premature. That emotional investigation, it is for after you've made the transition. Act quickly now. See your plans through presently. A lot of you may be headed towards some sort of healer's path or an artist's path. This could be an artist of any type or a healer of any type. That may be the type of work that you want to move toward. So this may be less about leaving behind a person and more just about leaving behind, as I said, an old version of yourself, so that you can be this type of creator, this type of artist and or healer. And you see that happening in the near future. You see it coming to pass. You see it coming to pass, especially if you are already a psychic, intuitive, empathetic individual, which the Queen of Cups also represents. Then you are ready to use that emotional knowledge and put it into creation, put it into healing others. Certainly can use it to heal yourself at this time, but also some of you putting it into artistic creations that could thereby heal other people. And this Queen of Cups, she feels her way through everything, and she is a very empathetic individual. But when we're talking about empathy, we're talking about having empathy for yourself as well as others, right? So I'm sensing that some of you are such empathetic individuals, your emotions have such control over you, that is why, if you start delving into the emotional hold that the situation has on you before the transition has taken place, then you will let your empathy for this past version of yourself or this person or people that you are transitioning away from overwhelm your empathy for yourself and your future and what you know you want to focus on and head toward. And that is why you absolutely can move backwards. I mean, this queen is facing backwards, looking back at the 10 of Wands, the 6 of Swords, and the Moon card. She is looking back in order to inspect her emotional present. So she's already looking back that way. If you look back that way too soon, you won't continue to move forward. When ultimately there are plans here to be made. There are plans you want to focus on. There is drive and determination here. But it's on the other side of getting away from what is no longer serving you, no longer meant for you. A lot of you have had your dreams or your subconscious in the recent past have communicated to you that it was time for the end of something, right? And that is why we see this burdensome end of a spiritual cycle here, because your own intuition, subconscious dreams have communicated to you that it is time. And I especially sense that that's the case if you are ready to be a healer and or artist of some sort here in the near future. And go ahead and just let yourself feel into what you want to be and what you want to do first. And then in the more distant outcome, then I said, there comes the plans and the focus, you know? So first you can just feel what it is to be that type of artist or healer that you want to embody, and then allow the plans to flow thereafter, in respect to what feels right to you first and foremost. And if that's the case, then the person who wasn't allowing all of themselves to be seen here in the recent past would have been this old version of you, whereas now you're ready to open up and share and show more of the true, real you, or at least the you that you're transitioning into, transforming into, that you're becoming now. So that's what I see coming through for us for October 24th, 2019. Those are some more messages that we have for the Virgo Moon here in Scorpio season 2019. If the Lunar Pull didn't resonate with you today, it very well may on another day, so definitely check back. One final message with the Fool showing up on the bottom of the deck. You do want to be careful that you don't proceed forward into this new beginning while still so focused on the past that you do end up wandering off this cliff, so to speak. So you may make a crucial, vital, painful mistake on this new path if you cannot first squash the obsession with the past that you can no longer have, right? You don't want to move into this new beginning still in a distracted and withdrawn state. You want to deal with that first. So it's sort of very delicate. It's saying you can't deal with the emotions just yet. While you're transitioning away from what is painful for you to transition away from, you can't focus on your emotional world just yet. You'll end up moving backwards. But in the near future, you do need to focus on what's happening in your emotional world, how you feel about that departure, that transition that just occurred, before transferring your focus then to the new beginning. So the emotions do need dealt with. You are correctly intuiting and sensing that. I mean, we know that, right? You do have to deal with them, but you can't deal with them yet. And you do need to deal with them before you start making plans for the future. Because once you start galloping into that future at such a speed, with all of your thoughts racing, your words heading in multiple directions, where you're networking and your plans getting laid out very quickly, if you are still distracted by the emotions connected to your past, of all the things that you're missing that you'd rather have, right, then you will not put all of the focus and energy that you need to into this new beginning, and there may be, again, a crucial misstep. Plans that don't get made, don't fall out correctly, who knows, working with the wrong partner, investing in the wrong partner, etc., etc. depending on what your new beginning is, there are many things that could go wrong, right? It's going to happen very quickly, and it's going to require all your focus. So don't deal with the emotions yet, because you won't move forward, but do deal with them before your entire focus is required on this new beginning. And Scorpio season is going to help you with this. Scorpio season energy wants you to inspect your depths. So really this reading is just about ordering the steps that you take now. There's a time for inspecting your depths, and it is not when you are transitioning away from something that is very painful for you to leave, and it's not when you are focusing on the future you're trying to create. It's this in-between state that a lot of people don't want to sit in, but that emotional work does need to be done, and you cannot do it at the same time as you're transitioning, and you cannot do it at the same time as you're building this new path and new future and new beginning for yourself. So you will have to allot for a timeout in between that is specifically just for inspecting your depths, your emotions, how you feel about the transition that just took place, where you're headed, who you're becoming. That is actually what will inform these plans moving forward. That is what Scorpio season will be about. For some of you, you need to allow the rest of Scorpio season to be a timeout where you're inspecting your emotions. But again, after you've transitioned away from this burdensome ending. So I know I repeated myself a lot there, but I think we got to the point. Only a little over 20 minutes. Thank you so much for all of your support to Lunartics Tarot, for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, messaging, emailing, donating, and ordering. If I didn't say all of that already, information on donating and ordering personal readings can be found down below in the description box. My name is Aze, and the email address is lunarticstarot@gmail.com. You're welcome to email me first, and I'm happy to work with you that way, discussing any details you'd like to go over, astrological information, specific questions, areas of interest, even decks and spreads sometimes. So that works for me, or you can just follow a link that I've provided down below in the description box. Either way, it's all so appreciated, and I do hope that you all make the very most of the Virgo Moon energy in Scorpio season. I hope that you all make very wise choices for yourselves moving forward. As always, I have absolute faith in you too. And with all of that said, I think we will leave our lunar pool for the 24th there for today. Good luck to everyone. And I can't wait to do another lunar pool for us. I really look forward to it. Enjoy the Virgo Moon energy.